It's for Chelsea at the movies!
In a new location.
That's right, we're live, exclusive. We're not live, it's not exclusive.
50 feet away from the old location.
Listen, we went and saw Avengers Infinity War again, a movie directed by the Russo brothers, starring a slew of people.
Yeah, too many to
Too many
list
to name.
You guys know who they are.
Right.
It's Avengers.
It's Avengers Infinity War. It's been like, they planned this movie for like a billion years, and they finally pulled it off. We've seen it twice now, actually.
Yes.
And so, let's talk about Avengers Infinity War. I was so excited about this movie. Let me tell you what I loved about it. I loved the, just like pulling this movie off. I feel like the Rotten Tomatoes scores are around like 80-something is low. And it's because I don't think it gives enough respect to like how intricate a thing they had to throw together into this movie. The scope of this movie is just magnificent. Thanos, the villain in this movie, is magnificent. Just a really great, fun, awesome movie that took one of the most popular comic book stories from my childhood and puts it on the big screen. Love that. Here's what I didn't like about the movie. It's not like the comic books that I read. I know that's dumb, but listen, there's a key part. Spoiler! Key part. Spoiler! Key part in this story that is not like the comic books. And for me, it's going to just be missing. It's that the movie studio doesn't have the rights to the Silver Surfer. And the Silver Surfer was so integral to the story and so important and is the most powerful superhero in the Marvel Universe. And so what they're trying to do is, and they're doing a good job of it, of using Thor as that, because he would be second probably. But that I just miss the Silver Surfer. He's not there, and I know he's not going to appear, and I'm sad about it.
All right, so what I liked about the movie is they did exactly what, when I heard that this was coming, because I did not read the comic books as a kid, and so Kelsey kind of told me, I was like, what is this Infinity War? Like, you know, what is this? And the stones. And so Kelsey explains the whole thing, and I'm like, oh, wow. In order to pull this off, they had to make a movie that would devastate the audience. Because you have to, if you want the payoff later, you had to go all the way into the depths of the spoiler, what was going to happen, which was Thanos, with a snap of his fingers, removing from existence half of the population of the universe. So that is, and if you want people to feel that, what that devastation really feels like, then you're going to have a movie that did that, and they did it.
Yeah.
You got to the end, and it happened, and it was sad, and you felt it, and then the movie was over. And that's hard, because we don't get to go see the sequel to it, the next installment, you know, in a week. Like, we have to wait at least a year. I don't even know how long. Maybe a year and a half. And so that's a really, like, risky move. But they did so well building all this up that I'm glad that they were courageous enough to do that with a movie. And I know that some people out there are complaining about this whole, like, serial movies that all build on each other instead of having,
world building is awesome.
But
take notes, Star Wars.
That's what's happening. So it's there. I'm glad that they did it. What I didn't like about the movie was I thought the villain's reason for, you know, why Thanos did what he did, which was because of there being finite resources, I thought that was lame. I may have went into this with expectations based on what I was told about the comics, which was I thought we were going to have a villain who was obsessed with death. And that was really fascinating to me. And instead, I felt like we got a villain with, like, who's, like, a crazy environmentalist. And so I thought that was a little tired and weak. I also thought some of the CGI was weak in this movie. Mark Ruffalo inside that big thing at the end in Wakanda, that looked ridiculous. It was laughable. And, yeah, I didn't like that.
Can we just talk about for 1 second when Thor's talking to the troll guy? Something about dying, and the guy was.
Well, the troll guy says like it will kill you, and Thor's like he says something like does that mean that I'm gonna die?
And he's like, yes.
And the troll's
he's like, that's what killing you means. And he's like, then his face is like. Like, I mean, that was like the best moment of the movie.
Because like that's like what's so lovable about Thor is that like there's some things he just doesn't get, you know. Which is also what they care like in the movie made me. I had this feeling of like, oh, if only, like you know that troll character hadn't made the gauntlet thing. If Thor would have taken the axe to Thanos' head, you know, because Thor doesn't like think things through.
Classic Thor.
Yeah. So I have like those moments. I'm like, if you know, even though it's a movie.
Now I'm always like, when's Silver Surfer gonna swoop in here, y'all? Anyway, so now what do we talk about? Go, wait, or skip? Should we go to the movie and see it? Wait for it until it comes out on whatever platform we like, or should we just skip it entirely? Rachel, what do you say?
It's like crazy if you hadn't already seen this, but you should go see it now.
Before it's too late.
Before you can't see it, yeah.
I'm gonna surprise you. Psych! You should go see it. If you haven't gone and seen this movie, that's dumb. Go see this movie. It's one of the...
Although I will say I talked to somebody that hasn't seen all the Marvel movies.
I don't care.
Is not familiar with the Marvel universe. Like, doesn't even know that, like, maybe Superman and Thor are in different universes. And things like that. And they really were lost in the movie.
Yeah.
So, they thought it was, like, interesting for some of the wide, like, bigger, broader themes in it. You know, like killing a bunch of people. Interesting thing was seeing all the Avengers like kind of fail and what you do with failure. We don't really get to see that in the other Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And things like that. But yeah.
I love it. Avengers Infinity War. I love you. You complete me. Shut up, Avengers Infinity War. You had me at hello.
I thought some of the script writing with like Bruce Banner talking to the Hulk, I thought that was like poor script writing, like it was just lacking for me. I'm ready for Peter Quill to have some kind of an arc where he like grows up. I'm hoping that maybe the death of Gamora will be that for him.
He died.
But he didn't die.
But he died. I mean, if
we know that they didn't die, we looked ahead. Spider-Man died, but we know there's a Spider-Man movie in the pipeline.
Well, I'm saying Gamora could come back too then.
Also, Black Panther died. No, but she didn't die.
I know.
Into dust.
They could still like reverse it. The Infinity stuff.
They can. I think that if you reverse things and you brought back Gamora or Loki, I think that that is like a cop-out. I think that you want this movie to be serious, and I think it should be watchable even after we see the next installments.
I think this movie is definitely like, it's definitely the best. To me, it's the best Avengers movie. Like, I know the first one was really great and all, but like, I feel like this one was everything the first one was, except like to the 10th power and better. And really, like, Thanos as a villain, like, the way that they presented him, like, you understood him, and he was so crazy smart and powerful, and unlike any other villain that we've seen, and just really, like, to me, the movie just lived up to I had huge expectations for this movie. I've been waiting for this movie since I was 12, and even without the Silver Surfer, you know what I mean? Like, they did it, and they did a great job, and I love it.
What's a D-hole? Do you know what that is? The raccoon calls Groot a D-hole, and I was like, what is that?
A dick hole?
I don't know. Is that what it is? Is he referring to Groot as like the little hole in somebody's penis? Is that a thing out there? You call him a D-hole. I don't know what that is. I know what an A-hole is.
I mean, like, think of all the little things they put in that movie there, like Groot being a adolescent, you know?
An ACT.
Like, all that's, like, they did all these little things that all worked, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That were funny and that, like, were real.
Well, how great has been the arc of Tony Stark. And we got to see, like, a broad, like, sampling or whatever you want to call it of it in this movie, starting with him like wanting children, like at the very beginning, but then him also being somebody who has to sacrifice be willing to sacrifice his life for like greater humanity, and his relationship with Spider-Man, who is a boy. I think that was all really done really well.
Yeah.
And I really like it. Gwyneth Paltrow's character be more open because I think that you can sacrifice for greater humanity and have children. I don't think those two things are opposed to each other. I think that you actually, it's like a great example to set for your own children. So.
Way too long.
Got anything else about this movie?
I mean, we could talk forever about this movie if you want to. Yeah.